When I wake up, the sun is already way up. The sunlight coming in from outside is faint and the room is dim. I feel like it's still last night and shake my head violently. It's cloudy outside. No wonder I didn't wake up. It seems my sleep-deprived body caught up on sleep, taking advantage of the darkness of the room. It seems it's already past 1 o'clock. Oversleeping this much can't just be called sleeping in. Saber, are you awake? There's no answer. Saber is sleeping next to me, slightly curled. I wake up when I'm not sleepy anymore, but Saber has to recover her magical energy. Considering how long she slept before, she probably won't wake up until dinner. I leave the room, trying not to wake Saber up. There's no need waking her up right now anyways. The contest begins at night. I don't think Lancer or Gilgamesh will appear during the day. So I have to come up with a plan. Putting Lancer aside, Gilgamesh will certainly come again tonight. I don't even need to think about it considering his personality and the murderous intent he showed last night. But what should I do? He has an infinite supply of noble phantasms, and one of them even exceeds Saber's Excalibur. Berserker was a difficult enemy to defeat, but we still could fight him even though we were inferior. We could look for a chance for a comeback even when he was pushing us. But he's different. It won't even be a fight right now. If he uses that noble phantasm called Ea, we will all die. I have to find a way. There isn't long before sunset. There's no solution if I think on my own. If Saber, Tosaka, and I can't think of a plan, then the church. As supervisor, he might know. He might know a way to overcome this situation. King of Heroes Gilgamesh. Kotomine Kirei said that he would find some measure against that survivor of the last Holy Grail War. We can't find a countermeasure, but that priest might have already come up with a plan. I go up the hill. The sky is filled with gray clouds. The church is the only thing at the top of the hill. There's no one in sight, not even the sound of birds. Is it because of the dark sky? It looks more ominous than holy. Metaphorically, it feels like a gallows. Going up the long hill, through the large courtyard, prosecuted before God and falling to hell. What am I talking about? That's not just a metaphor. From the beginning, a church is a place where people die. A hospital is a place where they try to prolong life, but at the same time, it is also a place where people face death. A church is the same. In those terms, no place has more deaths than here. The wind is cold. Fastening my collar, I go up the stairs to the church. Kotomine, I came to talk. I enter the chapel. There is no one in here either. Kotomine? Is he in the back again? Walking between the chairs, I walk to the altar. Pat, 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 pat. A dry sound echoes through the chapel. It must be designed for echoes as one person's footsteps fill the room. Kotomine, are you not here? I call out in a soft voice. It's certainly strange. I should be calling out in a loud voice if I'm calling for someone. I know he's somewhere in the back, so I should be calling out in a loud voice. But I advance, keeping my voice quiet, my footsteps quiet, and suppressing my presence. Is it because the chapel is so magnificent? I feel like as soon as I reveal my presence, something will surround me and cut my head off for disgracing God or something. I pass through the chapel and get out into the courtyard. I think Kotomine's room is... I advance with quiet footsteps. The church is complicated and I don't know where Kotomine's room is. My memory is vague, so I know I won't be able to get there. Something. I control my breathing. My throat is dry and it's hard to breathe. Why? Even though the hallway is cool, sweat forms on my brow. I stop calling out and examine the surroundings with all my senses. Do I have such? I don't know why. Why I'm walking silently. Why my heart's beating so fast. Why? There's an ominous feeling in this place. The same words repeat in my head. Go back. Go back, go back, go back. Kodomine isn't here, so you don't have anything to do here. Go home since you're by yourself. Your decision is a mistake. Your actions are a mistake. Your chill is a mistake. Go back. This isn't bad. There's nothing bad here. There is nothing here, so go home. I feel sick. I feel nauseous. At times like this, my chill is correct. My sense for danger is good enough for an amateur magus. That's why I can't stop. Suppressing my pounding heart, I look for Kodomine's room. And in that way, I run into the darkness. In the ground? I see stairs in the darkness, and a small indent between the walls one would normally miss because of the shadows is a narrow staircase. I shouldn't go down there. I'd bet money on it. Kodomine won't be down there. No one will be down there. There can't be. What does that say? Does that say anything? There can't be something down there. There can't be down there. What's happening here? What? I shouldn't go in there. My neck stiffens. I go down the stairs, go back home. I mean, come on. I mean, this one's like obvious, right? You go down into the deep, dangerous place. Like, this is Fate. I've also seen the Fate anime, so I kind of know what's going on here. I enter the darkness. It's a room made of stone. The lights aren't on, but the room itself is glowing blue as if it's a living thing. And underground. Temple? It must be used quite often as the temple isn't dirty with dust or mold. How deep is this? I look up the stairs I've descended. The staircase is built along the wall in an arc. I must trace out a perfect half moon as I can see the start of the stairs about 10 meters directly above me. Is it because there's no light? The arching staircase that connects this underground and the outside world remains of a centipede crawling through this temple. And I notice the door, under the stairs, the symbol in front of me, beyond it, an entrance to darkness, is open. I approach the darkness as if drawn to it. I go through what appears to be an entrance into the place. Is it damp? The floor feels slimy and it's hard to walk on. It's like the time I cleaned the swimming pool at school. The feeling that bog moss covers the floor and the feeling that my leg would rot every time I step in it. I stop. It's because I'm scared by the nasty feeling of the floor, but more than that, because I smell an awful stench. I plug my nose in reflex. The smell isn't momentary, but ongoing. It's not the smell of meat, but it's not gunpowder either. Is this formalin? I don't know what that is, by the way. The smell of medicine feels? The smell of medicine fills the room. My senses were numbed as soon as I came underground. I don't feel any chills or pressures anymore, but still, my heart beats like it's expanding to twice its size, and my hands are vermiculating like they're going to crumble into pieces. It's really hard to do this sometimes because you just run into really big words and you're like in the middle of reading something and you don't expect it. Those are the worst. And the worst thing is, my eyes have gotten used to the darkness. The darkness fades. A drop falls somewhere. Is that a signal? The things I couldn't see before are engraved into my eyes instantly. Well, that's creepy. It is a living hell that's somehow familiar. There are corpses. 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 Corpses all around me. The smell of medicine covers the smell of death. That's the cause of the dripping sound. The water is dripping into the corpses' mouths. The slightly open mouths take in the water, and it must have been like that for many years as the lips are swollen, and rotten, and the jaws are decomposing on some. Oh, that's fun. I tell myself that this isn't something. That this isn't happening. I don't want to think that such a thing can happen. Yeah, I'm running on 3 hours of sleep today. But I can't deceive myself. I can tell in a second. Even though there are this many corpses, no one is dead in here. They're alive. They're alive. These things that can only be perceived as corpses, these things that used to have human shape are still quite alive. I remember a news story I heard somewhere. It was a story about a whale, about a guy who survived for a month after being swallowed by one. A huge creature has a digestive system to maintain its huge body. The great thing is, the creature has 2 of them. The first stomach is where it keeps all the fish it swallows. The next one is the one that digests all the creatures it stores. So the man who was swallowed lived for a month being slowly melted in the lightless, warm, stinking meat lacking in oxygen. In the stomach full of dead fish, he lived for a month as his clothes and hair melted. A month, not knowing when he would be sent to the stomach. And then, some fishermen killed the whale, and when they were cutting it apart, a smooth and slimy human came out of the stomach like an alien. It's a tragic story, but this is just as bad. Why are they alive? Every corpse is deformed, and they lack too many of the human characteristics. No limbs. Those that have had them cut off. Those that have had the ends decomposed, leaving only the bones. Those who are ground down in the cracks in the floor. Those who have become homes to bugs, splattered on the walls. No matter how they came to be that way, they have no limbs remaining, and all of them are worn out like rotten trees. I don't even need to know why. The corpses are being eaten by the coffin. I don't know how it works. It's just that the corpses are stuck to the coffin, and the coffin is sucking nutrition out of the corpses. The flow of life. The coffin is sucking up the magical energy. No, something close to the soul. Slowly. So not to kill the ones it leeches off, and so as not to allow them to live. The sound of the wind, it sounds like sobbing. It seems like screams coming out of the corpses' mouths. Their throats have already decayed and they cannot let out voices. It has already become just an organ to keep them alive. God, this is rough. But still, the corpses are crying out. In an almost inaudible voice, they scream with all of their might. It must be the pain and the fear. They continue screaming, unable to stand, losing their form and being eaten alive. Are we playing Doki Doki Literature Club again? I hear a sound. The coffin in front of me gasps, drooling. An eye drops off as it turns its neck towards me. But still, it stares directly at me. The swollen lips move a little. It speaks in a voice that's not even a voice. Where am I? And it asks me that question. I'm right on the verge of screaming. No, I can't even scream right now. Where am I? It doesn't say it hurts, nor does it ask for help, but it just says it doesn't understand why it's here. Is that the reason? He was like that before he realized it. He lived normally, went to sleep naturally, and was gasping here when he woke up. His limbs are already gone, sucked by that coffin, rotting away from the ends, unable to move. And he can only believe this is just a bad dream. I might go insane. My heart might break in this scene and from this terrible spectacle, but why? Why do I recognize them? I've never seen them, but I recognize every one of the corpses. This is the first time I've seen them. They are people I shouldn't know. They are people unrelated to me, but why are they, as if knowing me, staring at me? And And I have another question. Is it some coincidence, or do the sacrifices have to meet this condition? Why are all the corpses here children of the same age? And then... Oh! Welcome, Miyashiro! Suddenly, I'm tapped on the shoulder from behind as if being greeted by a friend. My body freezes as this sudden event, and I can't even turn around. But I don't even need to turn around to tell who the person behind me is. Oh! Oh! Okay. Revelation. Kotomine Kire! The priest of this church, the man who made this hell. And the devil I must not meet more than anything else in this place. So he told me to sacrifice souls to Saber, so he's sacrificing souls to, what's his face? Lancer guy. Gilgamesh. I know it. There's no other way. I bet you this coffin is like pieces of Gilgamesh or something. And a devil I must not meet more than anything else in this place. What awful timing. It was foolish of me to prepare food for you thinking that you would come soon. I was unable to welcome you last time, correct? I thought I was attending to your needs, but it seems we missed each other. I can't talk. The priest's hands are heavy on my shoulders. But I cannot approve of trespassing. If you do such things, you will end up seeing things you should not. Such as a truth that might send a relationship back to a blank page. The priest's voice is more cheerful than I've ever heard it. Kotomine Kire, standing behind me with his hands on my shoulders, is definitely smiling. That's why I'm frightened. What is it, Miyashiro? You came to talk, so it's not good for you to stay silent. I'm disappointed. Is this spectacle really so outrageous? The priest says inhuman things in a cheerful voice. Does this man not feel anything when faced with this? I don't even need to tell him this scene is outrageous. Oh, that is cold of you. It is simple compassion to say that it is not, even if you might think it unpleasant. After all, you guys are like brothers and sisters. I do not think they will be saved if you act that way. Huh? Just now. What did this man say? What did you say? I said that you and these corpses are fellow mates. By whatever means, you all survived that living hell. Even if you have no blood relations, I believe the connection is close to that of brothers and sisters. Am I wrong? What? What? Are all of these people the same? Are these the people that survived that day? And then, or maybe the people who didn't, and he took their bodies? Oh, this is a special kind of evil. I see. That's why I thought I recognized them. This is the continuation of 10 years ago. God, this is fucked up. And this place is the continuation of that hospital room. My head spins. Children who lost their homes and parents. They were supposed to be sent to an orphanage and stay there until they found someone who would adopt them. I was adopted by Emiya Kuritsugu before that, and I did not know what happened to them afterward. I avoided thinking about it. The orphanage was the church on top of the hill, and I could have gone there anytime I wanted to. But still, I hesitated. I felt it wasn't fair to me to get adopted and then go see children who didn't get adopted. So if I was to meet them, it would be in town. We would meet accidentally, be able to talk normally, and we would be over the fire incident. I was looking forward to such a meeting, thinking that we surely would meet as it's such a small town, so why haven't I met even one of them? Kotomine. That's right, Miyashiro. If you had not been taken by Emiya Kuritsugu, you would have been one of them. Do you understand? You alone survived once again. Everyone around you dies but you. What do you think? Do you not think that is unfair? My pulse returns. My frozen body defrosts in an instant. Oh, no, I'm not criticizing you. It is rather delightful. Miyashiro's survival abilities are impressive. Honestly, I did not expect you to remain until the end. That is why I have allowed you to be reunited with your brothers and sisters in your final moments. You really are lucky. I was planning to close this place up after today, so you barely made it. 10 years now. I kept them alive to feed the servant, but it's coming to an end. I cannot hope to extract the same amount of soul as when I started, and there is no more need for food in any case. All that remains now is to kill you and your servant. You! With that word, I break all restraints. I move my body which had been bound. I fling the hands off my shoulders, throw myself forward, and turn to face the priest. Kotomine, you! I face him, placing enough distance between us. In that moment, I feel a powerful shock from behind me. That's weird. I can't breathe. A sharp horn is growing out of my chest. The horn looks like the head of a spear. That's strange. How can a spear be growing out of my chest? Well, looks like we got a bad ending, boyos. I have not yet told you. I shall formally introduce you. This is my servant. I turned to look back. There. Lancer? Wait, so... Now I'm really confused. There! A blue spearman is standing, piercing my chest. The lance is pulled out of my chest. At the same time, a sharp pain runs through my head as if to burn my brain. The floor is painted red. I'm lying on the slimy floor. I push on my arms to get up, but my body is too heavy. I can't move. Not because I'm bound, but because I lack the things people need to move. The pain in my chest exceeds the blood loss's power to drive me unconscious. I can't pass out. I've taken fatal wounds several times before. They were all so bad that they even numbed my senses. But this is different. It is a fatal wound, but the pain is too real. My vision spins. As soon as I black out from the pain, I'm awoken by the next pain. I can't feel my limbs. I can't even tell where I am. All I feel are pain, nausea, and the temptation that it would feel so good to just disappear. You did not kill him, right, Lancer? If you did, there was no point in keeping him alive until now. I can only hear voices. I have my eyes open, but I can't see anything. I'll follow your orders, even if they're disgusting ones. Lancer's voice shows no emotion, but I can barely hear it now. Fine, then we shall prepare now. The servant will know of the master's danger. It should be about half an hour until Saber gets here. Kotomine, this kid won't make it long. You should at least stop his blood loss if you want him alive until then. No need. I do not care if he dies. My mind starts to pass out. Pain finally overcomes my brain and allows me to faint. I stop that by digging into my wound. The pain starts again. My fainting mind returns to the burning world again. I want to die. I want to die right now if this pain's going to continue. I know that. But if I faint here, I also know that I'll die. I can't even remember what I'm doing now. I feel like I'm floating in this white, burning pain. Saber! But I grip my teeth and hold on to my disappearing consciousness. I can't let it in here. I can't retire so easily. I still have a promise I haven't kept. If I believe she is more important than anyone, I can't just disappear here. Well, too bad, Shiro. Looks like you just died. Interlude 15-1. Oh, did I not? Nothing happened? I don't know how, I don't know what's going on. When she wakes up, Shiro cannot be found. She thought he might be preparing a late lunch, so she makes her way to the living room, but she can find neither Shiro nor any lunch. He has gone out alone again? I told him to tell me if he does so. Why does he not listen? She complains to herself and sits by the porch. Honestly, I know he likes to walk alone, but that takes away the whole meaning of our cooperation. She swings her legs, not knowing what to do. She soon loses interest in that and looks up as if pondering. The whole sky is shaded in gray. The canopy of clouds is drifting slowly and an opening can be seen in the distant sky. It should be a clear sky tonight. Once the stars can be seen, tomorrow can be predicted. She still remembers how to read the stars, something she learned from her magus. She only used it to ask if her way was right, but she thinks about predicting a certain person's future, just for tonight. And if possible, a bright future. She wants to predict the dangers ahead and guide him in the proper direction. The one she worries about is so reckless that she cannot sleep unless she does so. Well, the problem is the stars that can be seen from this town. Come to think of it, she has never looked up at the sky until this day. All she cared about was winning the Holy Grail War, and not reading stars for someone else. She knows it's not like her, but she still tries to read the stars, and she awaits for nightfall to come. Honestly, this is a big change in her thinking. She continues to stare at the sky, thinking it's just like the young girl in love she has read about in stories. Hey, it's Reen! Oh, Saber, do you know where Shiro went? Reen? She gets up like a robot. But what is it? It's not like I'm surrendering to Shiro. She says so with a red face. Oh, was I interrupting you? Reen smiles in an evil manner. She lives under the same roof, but even without that, Emiya, Shiro, and Saber's reactions are easy to understand. She's sharp when it comes to others, and so she already knows about them. So of course, she's aware of what happened last night. She's aware of that, too? Jeez. No, they were in the same bed when she went to wake them up, so it was pretty obvious. Oh, okay. How loud did they get? That's about to be my next question. Well, I'll make fun of you later. Reen's best. Seriously, do you know where Shiro is? I was thinking about asking for his help since Ilia's fever seems to be rising. Ilia's fever? Did she not recover? No, I didn't tell Shiro, but she's almost at her limit. She won't be back to normal until the ritual of the Holy Grail War ends. Her capacity is extraordinary, but it's still filling up. There's still a bit of capacity left, so unimportant functions are still working. But once it's full, she will have to discard her least important function, which is her ability to be human. Ilia's field is made to break down more and more as the Holy Grail War progresses. Reen speaks annoyingly, but Saber does not understand what she is trying to say. Oh, it's fine. I said it in a way you wouldn't understand. Let's put Ilia aside for now. It's about Lancer. I found out who his master is. Lancer's master has been identified? Yeah, well, I found out, or more like I knew it. Lancer's master was a foreigner dispatched by the Magic Association. I already knew that, and I found her secret base either. And I finally found her secret base earlier, but... Reen, you should avoid such dangerous activities. If you found their base, you should have told me. I was going to, but it seemed strange from the outside. I went in thinking it was empty. All I found were traces of blood and a left arm with no command spell. There was nothing else. I think the arm was cut off. But based on how much blood there was, I don't think the master's alive. Lancer's master is already dead. Then Lancer does not exist anymore? They were defeated by another servant after Shiro was attacked 10 days ago. I wish that's the case, but the bloodstains were older than that. Do you know what that means? The servant was not killed, and the master was killed first, so the master took the arm. the command spell and formed a contract with Lancer? But Shiro and I are the only remaining masters, right? But Lancer still remains. And that means a Magus who's not a master became one after stealing the command spell. But is that even possible, Saber? No, the transfer of the command spell can only be between masters and servants. No matter how superior the Magus, he cannot become a master by stealing the command spell. I see. Then, one more question. Is a master still a master if they have their command spell and their servant, even after the Holy Grail disappears? It is just as you say. As long as the command spell and the servant remain, the Magus retains the rights of a master even after the Holy Grail War. Saber realizes the meaning of Reen's question and swallows her words. Then you think that the one who killed Lancer's master and formed a contract with Lancer is... Yeah, I can't think of anything else. In that case, Lancer's actions make sense. He seems like his role was to inspect other servants, right? Usually, they expose their true identity when they fight, but he wasn't even hiding his. So that must mean he was only there to collect information. I feel the same way. He did not fight to end even when he fought with me. Once they used a noble phantasm, it should be a rule for the servant to kill their enemy. Right. So Lancer's master has another servant. He collected information using Lancer and attacks with this other unknown servant. It's a great strategy. Well, I'm sure it was a pain for Lancer. He had to fight 6 servants, study their techniques, and return to his master. Fighting all 6 servants to a draw, he's quite outrageous in that way. Reen grows quiet and ponders. Did she follow suit? Saber feels a chill for no reason. Lancer's master has already been killed. An unknown master who uses heroic spirit of that degree just to collect information. And as the master planned, the only servants remaining are Lancer and Saber. If the enemy is such a person, it is not dangerous to leave Shiro by himself even during daytime. There were several enemies before, but there are no other enemies now. If they only have to defeat Shiro, the enemy might not follow their previous plan. Reen, do you know where Shiro would be? Once she starts thinking like that, it will not stop. She cannot leave Shiro alone. Even now, Shiro might be in danger. I don't know. I asked you because I didn't know, but he might be at Kide's. He went off to talk to him before, too. To that church? What's wrong, Saber? Do you have something against that church? No, it's not that, but the church is not a holy place. It is stagnated with death to the same level as the Ryoto Temple. The instant she regrets that Shiro might be there by himself, a vision of some other place pops into her head. She glares into the distance. She looks in one direction towards Kodomine Church onto the top of the hill. There is no time. Saber leaps out of the yard and jumps onto the wall. Hey, Saber, what are you doing? I'm going to the church. Please take care of this, Reen. Without even turning to Reen, she jumps off. She runs like a bullet. She reaches the place without stopping or slowing down. If anybody saw her, it would have just looked like a sudden gust of wind. The wind is clad in silver and blue armor. Saber is armored as soon as she sees the enemy's territory. She did not intend to arm herself. She had decided to arm herself once she entered the church, but she could not help it. As soon as she saw the church, her mind burned up and made her arm herself. Her chest is burning. The nausea that has been assaulting her is not hers. It is the church coming from her master, a hopeless sin of death. She does not know what is going on. The only sure thing is that Imiyashiro is on the verge of death, and there is no time. His wound could cause him to die at any second. That pain and the chill going around her body causes a sickening nausea. It is less than a thousandth of the pain Imiyashiro is feeling. but she still cannot stop her nausea. Her master is wounded that badly. He will not live. She will not make it even if she rushes with Godspeed. He is dying right now, and she might lose her master in front of her eyes. The instant she imagines that, her rationality vanishes. She just has to rush to her master as fast as possible. If Godspeed is not enough, she just has to break through the reason of God. Unfortunately, this is God's house, and her enemy is God's messenger. Her angry glare stares down the church. She crashes through the door and enters the chapel. She does not see the stairs. She ignores the path, goes through the chapel, through the courtyard, and down the stairs leading underground. All that's left are the demolished walls and floor of the church. Incidentally, she is not that violent. She tried to open the door softly and did not put that much magical energy into her legs when she kicked off that ground. She merely could not control them. She goes down the stairs and reaches the underground temple. The sense of death is near. Actually seeing it, her anger goes over the limit. Anger towards herself and anger towards the enemy who did such a thing. Yo, I'm sorry, but this is it, Saber. She cannot even hear the voice of Lancer blocking her way. She is straining at her limits, and it seems she cannot loosen up no matter what happens. Her master is down in the darkness, in the back room. In the middle of the room full of live corpses, he is on his stomach. Blood is pouring out of him, and his gasping can be heard even in this temple. He is alive. All the while she is relieved, she shakes from having left him for long in this state. Shiro! Saber heads to the back room. There's a guard in front of it. Holding his lance behind him, the blue spearman looks at Saber with fearless eyes. Yo, I'm sorry, but this is it, Saber. She does not hear his voice, so she does not stop. You, ignoring me, huh? Is it as one expect from him to block it while he was talking? Lancer blocks Saber's surprise attack, but could not defeat its power as he retreats to the wall. That makes the hindrance go away. There is no time to fight Lancer now. She has to save her master, who is on the verge of death. Huh, is that kid that important to you? I don't mind, but in this case, you really can't leave me alone. Saber stops at the entrance. What do you mean by that, Lancer? Well, I'm the one that stabbed him, but this is actually the second time I did that. He stayed alive the last time I did for some reason, so I pierced him. For sure this time. You used Gaebolg on Shiro? Don't worry, I didn't hit his heart, but the curse is still there. Even you should know the curse of this lance. This is the lance of cause and effect. The reverse is that cause and the effect. The one cursed by this thing cannot change their fate unless they have great luck. Oh, Shiro has great luck, alright. To put it simply, the wound made by the Gaebolg cannot be healed. The one cursed cannot heal and bears the wound until they die. As long as this lance exists, that changes the air. Saber's eyes finally regain intelligence. You finally understand. You want to save that kid, right? Then you'll have to settle your match with me first. Lancer's beast-like killing intent comes at Saber. It is true that Lancer is serious, but... Are you insane, Lancer? A Lancer would fight a swordsman in this small room? I cannot believe such a foolish idea would come from you. I shall let you go if you leave now. Leave that lance and disappear. I do not want to slay you in such an undesirable battle. Isn't that a more foolish idea? What kind of heroic spirit would discard their partner? I didn't pierce him to make some kind of deal. I'm here to fight you, Saber. There is no dishonesty in his words. Lancer does not intend to let either of them leave here alive. For him, this is the first and the last battle where he can go full strength. Lancer's wish is not for the Holy Grail. He wishes only for battles appropriate to heroic spirits. Such a simple wish that should have been easily granted to a normal servant was never granted to him until now. Therefore, he has no intention of losing out on what might be his last chance. Even if it happens to be an unfavorable situation for him. Alright, then I shall slash away that lance along with you. Saber readies her invisible sword and faces the Blue Knight. Well said. To be honest, I'm glad you're the one that's left, Saber. Lancer's lance runs like a flash of light. Saber confronts it straight on. The rematch begins with both of them executing powerful blows. It hurts. All I can hear is my own breathing now. I might have a fever that could burn someone to ash, as it feels like my brain is already melting and pouring out of my ears. Stop, 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 stop. Something's wrong. I feel like I don't have a brain anymore, but my body still keeps telling me about the pain and my head accepts it. Help. My head is the only thing that's empty. I don't know where my heart or stomach are either. The nausea is unbearable. There's nothing left to throw up, but the nausea increases without limit. I endure the infinite repetition with gritting teeth. I can't stay conscious. It's my pain, so only I have to endure it. There's no problem there. Give it back. Give it back! Sorry, I was just quoting Steins Gate. So the problem is the voices. My head is empty and I can only hear my breathing, but these voices still echo in my head. I don't even need to think whose voices they are. It hurts. Am I going mad? Every time I hear their voices, I'm stabbed in the chest. It's not scary, I just don't have any way to atone to them. No matter how much they beg for help, and no matter how much I want to help them, I can't. I want to ask them to stop calling to me. It's just that no matter how much they call, I can't help them. That's why I think I'll go crazy if this continues. Return it. No matter how much they ask, I cannot assent. All I can do is to end it for them. I can only fix the contradiction of the living dead. I can only make the creator of this hell atone for his sins. I can't take back any sad events or miserable deaths. That's my limit. The superhero only exists to straighten out what has already happened. Who was it that said that? Since I denied those words, I'm being cornered right now. To be honest, I want to run away. I have no way to save them. I can only listen to them. I have no miracle to grant them. I don't have enough power to deny this claim that a superhero is only so strong. Then, if I had a miracle that could save them, would I use it? She is here. Wake up, Miyashiro. Your servant has arrived. I hear a voice. It's coming from right behind me, but I can't hear what it's saying. My vision is blurry. There's nothing in front of me. All I sense are the voices asking for help, and the figures that are already dead. He is doing well, but he cannot match Saber as I expected. I need one more servant either way. I do not care whether that happens to be Saber or Lancer, but I shall make a selection before that. I can't hear anything, but this man's voice echoes in my head. Well, it is time for your turn. Let us go, Miyashiro. My head is tilted. The man grabs my head and pulls me forward. That lets me feel the man behind me. The man has swallowed black corruption. His heart is black and it seems like he's surrounded by an unknown darkness. The black corruption reaches in from the outside world and it's like a chain binding the man. I don't know what it means. Only one thing is clear. This man, Kuromine Kide, was just like me. His body had some kind of fatal wound and he is compensating for it with that unknown something. As I heal using Saber's powers, Kuromine Kide is maintaining his corpse-like body with this black corruption. That is it, Saber. Lower your sword if you wish to save your master. What is going on? My vision is still blurry and I cannot even raise my head. You too, Lancer. We are partners seeking the Holy Grail, after all. We should not kill each other so recklessly. If Saber only came to pick this man up, I will gladly let her do so. A gloomy laugh. Do you think I would believe those words coming from one who has killed Lancer's master and is about to kill my master as well? Who is he talking to? I can't hear the voice, but the sound rings through my fainting mind like a bell. Trust me, I do not wish to fight you. Things have turned out like this, but I will not interrupt you if you wish to seek the Holy Grail. From the beginning, my role is to determine the possessor of the Holy Grail. You two are more than qualified. Therefore, if you wish, I could give you the Holy Grail right here. Are you saying that the Holy Grail is here? It is here. The Grail exists everywhere. It is a shapeless vessel to begin with. Its completion depends on when, where, and what it is summoned in. This church is sufficient just to summon it. Of course, the Holy Grail is incomplete if there is more than one servant remaining, but it should still be able to grant most wishes. If that is not sufficient for you, then you may continue fighting. I do not want that, but I shall accompany you if you choose so. Is that fine with you, Lancer? It's not. We don't need to go so far. We could decide the match right here if we wanted to. In this situation, you are at a disadvantage in this room, and Saber would not be able to fight if she is concerned for her master. I do not think this would be a satisfying battle for you. A spitting sound. It seems the man has reluctantly agreed. Fine. Then let me ask you one thing. What is the Holy Grail? Isn't it not meant to appear until there's only one of us left? Did the thing that summoned us trick us from the beginning? No, it is true. The Holy Grail will not appear until there is one servant left. But the vessel in which the Holy Grail will appear is a different story. This is prepared for the shape from the start, and power flows into it until the Holy Grail is summoned. Since only 2 servants remained, it should begin to acquire a power as the Holy Grail. Is that not correct, Saber? You remained to the end in the previous war. You should understand what the Holy Grail prepared by the Ainsburns is. Yes, the Holy Grail is always here and waits to be filled with the blood of the sacrifices. But do you not think that is sad? You don't need to wait until only one remains. It should be possible to grant your wishes right now. So there is no meaning in killing each other right here. Yes, your opinion is certainly correct. But then, who are you? Is your objective not to obtain the Holy Grail? I told you that I am the selector. I am an appropriate person. If an appropriate person exists, I shall give out the Holy Grail. For that, I wish to hear from you, Imiyashiro. My body moves. My head is grabbed and my body is lifted. It hurts. The wound in my chest opens up. The pain makes my vision go white. You. Do not worry, I only wish to hear his answer. The Holy Grail only answers those who wish for it. It must interest whether your master is appropriate for the Holy Grail or not. That is useless. Shiro does not seek the Holy Grail. My master is not as lowly as you. Yes, he said so at the start, but that will not be his true opinion. As every man has his darkness, this man also has a dark side. For instance, did this boy truly curse nothing on that day 10 years ago? Is he not shaking it off by forgetting what lay ahead? Hold on. What is he saying? The fire 10 years ago has nothing to do with this. This is meaningless. Nothing should come out of it. I will open your wound. It is time for your confession, Imiyashiro. My back aches. My mind reverses like electricity running through it. In place of my fading mind, a red vision appears. Stop. Stop. Stop, stop, stop. Stop, 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 stop. There's no meaning in this. No one will be saved if I remember this now. Everybody died. Everyone was dead. I was the only one wandering through the fire. The houses had burned down with burnt-up corpses under them, and sounds of crying came from all around. It hurts. I walked alone. I sought help, and I wanted someone to save me, so I kept walking, not looking to the side. Stop. All the while, how could I think that no one asking for help from me... How could I think that no one was asking for help from me when I could still move? Stop. Yeah, I noticed. There's no way I couldn't have. I walked through it all. I ignored those voices sobbing in pain. I ignored those voices going mad, trying to escape. And I ignored the screams of those not wanting to die. I ignored the pleas of mothers wanting me to take their children. I even ignored the dying eyes of that could not ask for help. I kept walking, only seeking help for myself. I was tired of looking at corpses. I was already tired of seeing people die in pain. I thought I couldn't save them. I thought they would die no matter what I did. That's why I never stopped. I thought I had to live even a second longer because I had to go that far. If there were people who died without being able to do anything, as long as I could do something, I thought I had to live. But my heart was almost crushed. I held back my tears and walked on in search of an escape. It was hard to live on while ignoring the pleas for help. I knew it would be easier if I apologized, so I never apologized. I believed that would be my only sincerity, as I could not do anything. And as I wished, I alone was saved. Hey, is this the fucking light from the beginning of Tsukihime? Is it? I think it is. The only ones at the hospital were children unfortunate enough to be in areas near where the fire occurred. I didn't want to know about it, but the man in the white coat told me. In that area, I was the only survivor. Stop already. I saw people dying in pain. I saw just as many sad people, because there was a funeral for all of those who died in a big building. Every kind of sadness and affection for those that died. I thought that... Just stop. I had to remember every single bit of it. It's only natural that many people wanted to be helped and not one of them had their wishes granted. So, since my wish was granted, I thought it was only natural for me to take on their deaths. No, I could not hold my head up unless I thought so. No more. That's why I frantically chased after Kiritsugu. For those I couldn't save and for those things I couldn't do, I admired a superhero who could save someone. What was me crumbling away as I ignored the pleas for help? I kept moving forward with an empty mind. No more. The people I didn't save taught me that I had to go on. What was lost within all of that? I just thought about going forward in place of all the people that died. Couldn't think of anything else. I sealed any memories before that so that I would never think about them. People kinder than anyone else. Memories of those who were my parents, so as not to recall them and go back. I sealed them tight, thinking I was already dead. Don't open it. It's not painful. Emiya Shiro was happy being adopted by Emiya Kiritsugu. So, you have never thought it was a mistake? I'm telling you, don't open that! Pain. The pain in my chest pulls me back to reality. My nausea doesn't stop. My limbs are numb. And my head is burning. My breathing is ragged. The voices are echoing in my head. I throw up blood. Is it because my body is dying or because I cannot endure those voices? My chest hurts. My chest. I can't plug it even if I try. What hurts is the pain inside. It will keep hurting as long as the memory is there, and it will never heal. Is it all an illusion? I see a figure that should not be here. So I have to bear this. I can't think about wanting to die. If she is here, even an illusion, I have to act like I'm alright. It is a deep wound. It will be painful if it is not healed. You should not end your life bearing that. I hear the priest's voice. The voice is totally unlike him, filled with compassion. You said you do not need the Holy Grail, but is that true? If you can redo what happened 10 years ago, will you not seek the Holy Grail? You can save everything that was lost in that instant. You can eliminate that disaster and not associate yourself with Emiya Kiritsugu and be your true self. It is not the only way to... Is that not the only way to save yourself? Redo the incident 10 years ago. Redo myself who survived by not saving anyone? No, more than that. If I could make that incident as if it never happened so that no one would be hurt. Why? I shake my head. I reject that vision with my burning head. I spit at my own weakness because... I hear their voices. My fingers feel the wet floor. Help. They all wanted to go back to that day. Yeah, I wanted that too, though it can't have been as bad as you guys. Even after Kiritsugu adopted me, I went to the burned field often to look at scenery. I went to the place where nothing remained, opened the door that didn't exist, walked through the hallway that didn't exist, and smiled at my mother who wasn't there anymore. I wanted to return to the days before it happened. I waited the day when I would wake from this bad dream, and that didn't happen. I accepted reality. But if I could obtain a world where it didn't happen and where nobody got hurt, that would certainly be. Now answer. If you wish for it, I shall give you the Holy Grail. The priest with the Grail says so. If I wish, these voices will go away. Orphans like me, if fate had taken a slight turn, I would be there as well. So I didn't even need to think about this. I don't need to think about it, so why? I don't need it. I can't wish for such a thing. I stare straight at the dead corpses, and I reject them. That is my answer. It doesn't matter what the Grail is. I can't wish to regenerate the dead nor to change the past. Right? You cannot... Right? You can't redo the past. The dead won't come back. What's done cannot be redone. I cannot wish for such a thing. My cheeks are hot. Every time I say such a miracle is impossible, tears pour out from vexation. I wonder why miracles wishing for such normal happiness are too much for people. The Holy Grail makes that possible. Everything will be as you wish. The priest says so, but I can't agree. Even if I could redo the past, I must not take back what has already happened. Because if I do that, everything would be a lie. Those tears, those pains, those memories, that cold reality that hurts my heart, all of it. There were people who died in pain. There were people who risked their lives to save others. And there were people who mourned for their deaths. But then, if everything were taken back, and it did not happen, where would all of those go? The dead people would not come back. Reality cannot be overturned. To continue on remembering the pain and the weight, isn't that how lost things remain? People will eventually die, and death itself is sad. But pain shouldn't be the only thing that remains. Death is painful, but it also leaves behind bright memories. As I am bound by these people's deaths, as I am protected by my memories of Kiritsugu, I believe memories become constraints and change the people living now, even if they are memories that will eventually be forgotten. This path, I don't believe it's the wrong one. I see, then I don't need the Holy Grail. I can't stray from my path for the people I've left behind. I declare so within my pain. I control the pain of my fading consciousness, and I manage to stay up on my knees. Then I finally realize I can't hear the voices. The voices aren't echoing anymore. I don't know how they took my answer, but it is sad that they closed their eyes without a single grudge. That is, the answer her master arrived at. The anger she bore until just a moment ago has disappeared. She is at a loss for words, staring at her master. His path. I don't believe it's the wrong one. With his bloody body, with his ragged breath, controlling his tears, I can't stray from my path for the people I've left behind. He has apologized to everything he has stepped on, but he still declares that he will not change his path. Her vision wavers. She cannot breathe right either. She knew of his past. As Miyashiro has been Saber's past, she has also been his. That is why she thought he would nod. No, she thought he had to nod. She wanted to say that it was not his fault. If he could hear, she wanted to say that it is not something Miyashiro should be burdened with. But still, he denied it. No matter how painful the past, one cannot redo it. She almost collapses. Those words are too heavy for her. Making an oath and devoting everything you have to its accomplishment. She had felt that their ways were similar, but that was just conceit. Only she thought they were similar. They could not be similar. His mind is strong, and she, only able to deny his words, was wrong. So, you choose your wishes over your savior. The priest lets go of the boy. He looks down at him in annoyance and walks past him as if he's lost all interest in him. Then how about you, Saber? That kid says he does not need the Holy Grail, but you must have a different opinion. Your goal is to use the Holy Grail to save the world. Do not tell me, heroic spirit, you will be... Do not tell me a heroic spirit like you will be as egotistical as that kid. Her heart is shaken by his question. The priest says he will give the Holy Grail. He will give her the Grail if she has a goal and a wish she wants granted. That is... There's no reason to refuse. She fought for that alone. She became a servant for that reason alone. So, what Shiro says does not matter to her. To obtain the Holy Grail, Saber. Then I shall propose an exchange. Saber, kill your master with your own hands to achieve your goal. I shall give you the Holy Grail if you accomplish that. She would do anything. Huh? It is an unexpected proposal. She cannot understand it. It's not that she cannot understand his words, but such a choice has never existed for her. What? You should not hesitate. You can kill this kid before he realizes it. First of all, he cannot be saved. Would it not be compassionate to kill him right now? The priest steps aside. Before her is the door leading to the underground cemetery and a collapsing figure. She walks as if drawn to it. She walks past the priest and enters the damp room. This room is hell. He arrived in this place, and he was shown his dark side, and yet he declined the priest's offer. She places her hand on her sword. At her feet is her master, breathing painfully. The end of a long journey, the Holy Grail she desired at the cost of her life. It will be granted just by swinging her sword down. After all, the master and the servant cooperate, and only until they obtain the Holy Grail, even if it ends here. What is it? Do you hesitate? Is it for the Holy Grail? I believe it is quite a bargain. The priest's words are true. It is strange to hesitate now, but still. This path, I don't believe it's the wrong one. Those words will not leave her. It is vexing, but she isn't like Shiro. She wants to redo everything. On that day, there was someone better suited to become king, someone else to pull out the sword, and that person must have been able to build a more peaceful country. That is her heart that holds her country's idea. There. That is her heart that holds her country dear. That is the doubt of the girl Arturia before she became a king. That mind. The mind she left behind on the day she drew the sword. Why did she not realize it before? I cannot stray from my path for the people I've left behind. That is her heart that holds her country dear. That is the mind of a girl before she became a king. But it is not the heart of a king. The only one the king believed in was herself. To deny that would be to deny everything she has taken away. Things lost will never return. Her master continued to appeal to his pain. His figure hurts her so much. What did she tell him? That she could not start a new life? She continued to refuse him, saying that she had a duty as the king. What duty is that exactly? To resurrect the destroyed country? To choose a more appropriate king? Or does she only wish to make the destruction never have happened? That is wrong. Yes, that is wrong. She was raised and lived as a king. There was no mistake. So if the result was ruined, why could she not accept it? There are no regrets. If one can be proud of one's life, one should not wish for another chance. I see now, Shiro. Shiro's lamentations pierce her heart. She said that the tears would go away, that the pain would go away, that the heaviness in her heart would go away as well. That is salvation by elimination. But if everything were made to never happen, to have happened, what would happen to all the things taken away? She has taken away many things and killed many. To bear the pain and regret it is the requiem. So if she wishes for another chance, it should be from this moment on, and not from the past. If there is something she cannot do, she should not go back to the past to accomplish it, but rather she must start to establish the wishes that never came true from this moment on. But she is no longer a king as she lost her country. So her wish should be for herself as he says. No, that is not something that should be wished for. It was her decision to become king. It was never painful for her, even if no one understood or accepted it. She believes that what she desired was something that she can be proud of. At the least, the girl pulled the sword out believing so. That is the answer. Just like him, that is the only answer she can be proud of. Yes, she remembers the oath that she made a long time ago, something she has kept to herself. She decided to fight, even if it meant losing everything and fighting everything. I was the foolish one. The oath of the king to fight even in that condition. The king protected the country, but the country did not protect the king. That is all. The result was cruel, but if there was nothing to be ashamed of in the process, there was no need to seek it. She swore to accomplish her duties as king. Even if the result was her destruction, she fulfilled that oath until the very end. So, she does not need anything else. Yes, she did not want everything. From the beginning, there was only one thing she wanted. She lost many things to obtain it, but there was something she protected until the very end. With that in mind, let her end the dream that was never granted. I want the Holy Grail, but I cannot kill Shiro. Pointing her sword at her enemy, she says so from the bottom of her heart. What? Do you not understand, fool? I said I favor Shiro more than that thing. That's why her role is already determined. To be his sword and shield, and so she cannot hesitate any longer. Are you saying you do not want the Holy Grail? I do not wish if it will dirty me. I already have everything I wanted. Yes, everything was there. Her pride as a knight and her oath as the king. Even the dream the girl Arturia wished for. I certainly heard those words, the confession of the girl who wished for the Holy Grail. She confessed that she no longer needs such a thing. Saber. Controlling my ragged breath, I call her name. Even though I cannot see her, I can tell she's nearby. The pain is subsiding. I don't know if it's because she's near me, but the wound is starting to heal up. Can you stand, Shiro? Please take my hand if you can. Yeah, I can. I take her hand. My vision recovers. Energy starts to flow into my weak body. Saber, this is... Yes, even the curse of the Gaebolg will not be effective against you now. It shall heal completely if you stay by my side. But rather... Saber turns to look toward the underground temple. Beyond the door, at the exit of this room, stands the last master, Korobine Kide, and Lancer. I see. He observes us as if seeing us for the first time. You two are boring. He spits this out in an emotionless voice. It seems I will have to keep the Holy Grail after all, but that will be rather violent. The Holy Grail needs to be complete to grant me my wish. I'm sorry, but you must die here, Imiyashiro. I try to stand ready, but my body still won't move. I can barely stand by taking Saber's hand. I can't fight like this. More than anything, I'll be a burden on Saber. You are worrying needlessly, Shiro. Please stay here. I shall be able to take on both of them. Oh, you have a lot of confidence. Do you think it would be wise to run now, Lancer? Lancer does not respond. First of all, Korobine doesn't sound like he's in danger. He's just saying he's scared of us. Koromine, I shall ask before I defeat you. What are your intentions? What do you wish as the supervisor of the Holy Grail? Well, to put it simply, I wish for entertainment, but it's not something I need in a hurry. To be frank, I do not have much interest in the Holy Grail, but that matches my tastes. If there are no appropriate owners, I shall take it for the sake of the world. Ridiculous. What are you trying to claim? After killing a master and becoming a master yourself, you must have intended to obtain the Holy Grail from the beginning. Nonsense. I came by it by chance. I killed Lancer's master because outside Magi are troublesome. I do not want outsiders to discover the true nature of the Holy Grail, so I had the master leave at an early stage. But it would not have been smart to eliminate the servant as well. I need a piece to hasten the fighting, so I just borrowed Lancer's master right as... There? What? Then Koromine became a master by killing Lancer's master? I see. I shall not ask any more about yourself, but I will have you fulfill your duty as a supervisor. Where is the vessel? The vessel of the soul of this war. What? Do you mean you were hiding it without realizing it? He gasps in surprise, but only for an instant. After looking us over with pleasure, he snaps his fingers to bring in the last character. What? The two tense up. Hard footsteps descend from above. Well, it probably isn't necessary, but let me introduce him anyway. This is the servant, Archer. He is the heroic spirit that was my partner in the last Holy Grail War. The Golden Knight appears. It is Gilgamesh, the king of heroes.